This is apparently a story of a girl that grew up in that lifespan and talks to us about her time being raised by wolves. Let's see if this is real or totally fake and clickbait.
My last memory of human life was from when I was 10 years old. I remembered my mother carrying me out into this icy landscape.
She just left you there?
The wind was blasting us with thousands of icy crystals.
What?
And I held onto my mother tight, but she let go of me and dropped me on the freezing floor.
Bro, this is so traumatic. We're only 26 seconds in. She just left you in the... She was trying to murder you? Bro, what the crap?
My mom turned and ignored
my
me. She disappeared, and that was the only memory I had of her. I didn't even know what her face looked like. The trauma of being abandoned in the Arctic had wasted away what memory I had left. So now all I knew was that my name was Annika Sabine. After she abandoned me,
I would die. I would be like, it's time for me to die. I will die now.
I was devastated, but I decided I wasn't going down without a fight. I was determined to survive. I learned how to make a fire out of sticks in the woods left nearby.
What the heck?
I learned how to make an igloo to shield myself from the snowstorm.
Who's teaching you?
I lived off seal meat and...
Who? Okay, hold on. Who taught you any of this, and how did you acquire such a large cut of seal meat? I mean, can you just kill a seal as a 10-year-old?
sometimes even polar bear meat.
What? Okay. What?
Life was tough and boring until one fateful day. I was about 16 years old. I had just returned from fishing when I noticed that smoke was coming out of my igloo. I felt my heart skip a beat. I had lit a fire.
Oh, it's on fire.
But why was there any smoke? Was an intruder in my home? I sprinted as fast as I could and barged in, my spear in hand. Get out, you! I froze. It was a guy, and
She's in love? I mean, this is crazy. Why does that stone furnace look so realistic either? Like, why is that so real looking? It's like real stone. Why is that real?
he looked about my age. He was wearing a coat made out of bear fur, and as he looked up at me, I noticed his gorgeous brown eyes. Who are you? I'm Sake, the boy coughed. I'm sorry for barging in. Get out! I didn't really know how to react, but I sure as heck knew I didn't want him staying any longer. I'd lived on my own my whole life.
I guess that makes sense. This is the first part of the story that I'm like, this could actually be real. Like, if you were on your own and someone came in, it'd be scary. Yeah.
I didn't need someone else bothering me. I'm sorry. I needed some warmth. I don't care. You need to leave. But then I hesitated because suddenly Sake was leaning to one side and then he collapsed. I just stood there, unsure of what to do. I had an unconscious guy in my igloo. I could leave him outside to die. The polar bears could have him.
Dude, she's evil.
I could care less. But just as I was about to drag him out, something made me stop. No, this wasn't right. Why do I have to be so righteous?
How can she still speak English? Like, if you were left on your own in the middle of nowhere, could you still speak English, or would you, like, forget? I guess you would still talk to yourself so you didn't go crazy, though.
I wrapped Sake in one of my blankets and fed him some soup while he slipped in and out of consciousness. He had a fever. When he finally woke up, he looked much better and healthier. He told me everything about where he'd come from.
Where?
My uncle and I used to live just over the mountains there. But 2 days ago, he slipped and fell off a ledge. He didn't make it. Oh,
Jeez.
I'm so sorry.
This is so traumatic for these two people. I mean, they must have the toughest life ever. I guess if you meet someone who was raised by wolves, they probably had a tough life.
My uncle told me I had family
If it wasn't
in
already
England,
obvious.
and we used to have a radio, but that broke down. I was stranded here, and I was never really the best at survival, so I started walking to look for help. Then I found you. While my mind was still trying to process what an England was and who radio was. What is that? Shh. We stayed quiet and listened, and then my blood turned cold.
It's a bear.
Colder. Polar bears. Oh no. You stay here. No, I can help. I didn't wait to hear him out and left the igloo. I was right about the noises.
Oh, God, I don't think polar bears hunt in packs. I think orca whales do, but I'm pretty sure polar bears are pretty solitary.
They roared at me fiercely. I started swinging to try and fight them off, but no matter how hard I tried, they were too much for me. I soon became overwhelmed, and one of them lunged for my throat. I closed my eyes, accepting defeat. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, I heard a squeal and all the polar bears scattered. I turned to see Sake standing in front of me, protecting me from the polar bears. Sake? Sake turned and smiled down at me. I realized just how cute he was. Are you okay? Sake helped me up and we stared at each other for a while. I had the sudden urge to hug him or even kiss him. But before anything more could happen, a plane appeared suddenly,
I mean, it's just a traumatic life. The polar bears attack him, dude saves him, plane appears. How is this all happening in such a short span of time? Is the plane crashing? What in the world is this?
Really low toward us.
No.
Kay and I stared in shock. I'd never seen a plane before. I was speechless. Is it a rescue team? Maybe it. But the next words were snatched by the wind of the plane's blades as they came plummeting toward us. Screamed and dove out of the way, just in time. If we dodged a second too late, we would have been minced meat. The plane seemed to lose control and suddenly it crashed into the icy ground. Oh my god! They're like broken glass. Sake and I took one look at each other, then we started sprinting towards the plane. We arrived and searched desperately for any survivors.
I bet you this story, the way it's going, everyone's dead. I almost guarantee it. Let's see.
Over here! I
No, they're
followed
alive?
Sake's voice
No
and
way.
found him pulling out a woman. It looked like she was in her 40s. For some reason,
In her 40s. She's gotta be like 65.
I recognized her. But I shook the thought away quickly and together we dragged her out of danger. We double-checked for more survivors, but it seemed she had been the only one on board. What do we do now? We have to bring her back home. Sake lifted the woman in his arms and we carried her back. For days, the woman remained unconscious, in a coma of some sort. Meanwhile, Sake and I cared for her. One day, I entered the igloo with some wood cut up in a bundle. As I stepped in, I tripped on one of our blankets and went tumbling. But Sake appeared like some kind of prince and caught me before I face planted.
They need to fall in love at this point. It's clear that they have feelings. And why is his eyeball so large?
Held on to him and we stared at each other for a while. Our lips were inches apart.
Kiss.
I felt myself move
Do it.
closer. Where am I?
Oh, never mind.
We turned to find the woman sitting up in bed, wide-eyed. She looked at us. Where am I? She repeated. I pushed away from Sake and knelt by the woman. You're in the Arctic. The Arctic? Yes. The woman looked at Sake suddenly. Who are you? I'm Sake. The woman looked at me. You're Annika? I was taken aback. How did you know my name? The woman blinked.
Is that her mom?
And suddenly looked away. I heard that guy say your name. Oh. I cleared my throat. Look, you're probably under a lot of
I thought it was her mom. Never mind.
shock. We crash landed in a plane. Do you remember what happened? The woman hesitated. I was flying over towards Greenland. Greenland? It's a country close to here. I'm a journalist, you see. A journalist? Wow. Yeah. What's your name? Mandy Mandy Sandy. Nice name. Mandy soon became a part of the little family we'd built here. Except Sake and I did most of the work. Mandy just sat around like some kind of princess. Mandy, can you help me light the fire? No, I'm so tired.
Is that her mom? Like, I don't know. Like, why is she acting weird?
Out with the fishing. You didn't even do anything. You just sat there and complained. It was very tiring. Why I oughta... Sake held me
Kick her
back.
out.
Don't. Just ignore her. But she's so annoying. I know, but if we want to survive out here, we have to work together.
Why? She's just taking your resources and is not contributing anything. You should definitely get rid of her and let the polar bears eat her. That's what I would do.
Sake could be so righteous sometimes. It was so annoyingly adorable. The next day, I had to say goodbye to Sake. He was taking a trip to the eastern end of the valley to look for more food since we were experiencing shortages after Mandy joined us.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Feed her to the polar bears. Get rid of her. Use her as bait. Tie her up. Get the bears to come. Shoot the bears. Eat the bears. And then also eat her.
He would be gone for 2 days. I was dreading it. Just be safe, okay? Sake pulled his bag over his shoulder, smiling his beautiful smile. Of course. Try not to murder Mandy, okay? I'll try. I hesitated, then I hugged him tightly. Before we pulled away,
Kiss.
I gave him a quick kiss on the cheek.
There it is.
He smiled and brushed my forehead with a finger. See you soon. I waved goodbye. Where's he going? Mandy must have just woken up. I groaned inwardly. Great. Now I was stuck with Her Majesty.
That'll be a pretty rough 2 days if you had to be stuck with her, especially if she is actually your mom.
Mandy, he'll be back soon. How soon? What did she care? 2 days. I looked at Mandy strangely, then grabbed my own bag. I'm heading to your crash site. I'll be back in a few hours. Why are you going there? Was it just me, or did she sound a little panicked?
She sounded panicked the whole time. Something's going on with this old lady.
Just looking for supplies.
Something's
Jeez.
going on.
What's with all the questions? I said goodbye and took off. For some reason, I felt like Mandy was hiding something from me.
She is.
Half an hour later, I arrived at the crash site. Plane debris still scattered on the ground. It was so creepy when I came upon what looked like a purse. This must be Mandy's. I opened it up, and sure enough, it had something that must have been money, credit cards, and an ID. I glanced at the ID, but what I saw made my blood run cold. Instead of the name Mandy Sandy, like she told us, the ID said her real name was Mandy Sabine. Sabine! That was my last name!
It is your mom!
Why did Mandy have the same last name as me? Was that a coincidence? No, it couldn't be.
What?
The fact that she lied proved that she was hiding it from me. But why? What? Then it hit me like a ton of bricks.
I thought she actually just threw bricks at you. I was like, oh, she killed you.
Mandy. I knew I recognized her from somewhere. Mandy was my mom.
It is her mom!
Come here, Annika. I spun around. Mandy, my mom? She stood there grimly. You're... Go on. Say it. You're my mom. Mandy smiled, but it lacked all warmth. Yep, but I don't understand. Why are you here? Why did you abandon me?
What?
Mandy sighed. She turned to me because I hated you. I hated you and I didn't want you. You ruined my life. I could have been a model of Victoria's Secret fashion show, but no. You just had to come along and ruin my body. I worked as a journalist instead.
My God.
A stupid, boring job. But one day, my work took me over
Every journalist watching this like, hey, that's not that bad.
the Arctic. That's when I saw my chance. I dumped you here like the worthless thing that you are, and I left you. And I don't regret my decision one bit. You're a monster. It's nothing personal, just business. But why are you back here then? If you hate me so much, why did you come back? Mandy rubbed her face. That's the only annoying part of my plan. You survived. You weren't supposed to do that, you know.
Was she gonna discover your body as part of her journalist stuff? That's creepy if it's so.
All over the news. Some satellite or something spotted you here all on your own. I knew I had to come back and dispose of you before anyone found out what I did. Oh my God, my mother really was a monster. How could I be related to her? Yep. Sorry, honey.
Bro, this story is freaking crazy.
Mandy lifted a spear from behind her back.
What?
The world will never know. Suddenly, anger coursed through my veins. How could life be so unfair? No, I won't let you win. I stamped my foot on the ground, but as I did, a crack appeared beneath me.
What?
Mandy froze too. She looked at the crack, which was quickly spreading and widening by the second. She backed away. I looked around and realized suddenly that we were on a frozen lake. How could I have missed that? Mandy backed away and stumbled, sending more cracks into the fragile ground. Mandy, wait! I screamed as suddenly the floor seemed to disappear and I plummeted into the icy water below. I screamed as the cold bit into my skin like razor-sharp blades. I managed to push up and grab onto the ledge of the ice, but I couldn't pull myself out of the water. Mandy, help! Mandy just stood there and watched me as I flailed about, fighting for breath.
I have never seen one of these stories with such an actual evil character. This is mind-blowing.
Mandy, I'm your
Oh my
daughter!
God.
Mandy looked away. I'm sorry, Annika, but I can't let you ruin my life. My mother turned around, abandoning me yet again. I lost my grip on the ice and fell back into the water. Fully submerged. Black filled my vision. I was drowning. As I drifted closer to death, my mind went to Sake. His smile, his kind heart. I would miss him. Then, a hand grabbed hold of my collar and yanked me out of the freezing water.
No
I
way.
gasped for air as Sake rescued me, pulling me back onto the surface. Annika! Sake took off his coat and bundled me up in the warm fur.
What?
My teeth chattered as I looked at him gratefully. Thank you, Sake. But my relief was short-lived. Suddenly, Mandy appeared, brandishing her spear, and she charged right at us. Mandy bulldozed towards us.
What
she
the?
slipped on the ice, and instead of killing me, she dropped the spear and fell headfirst through the hole in the ice.
Did she die?
We scrambled to rescue her, but by the time we got there, she was already gone. Sake grabbed a hold of me and held me tight. I closed my eyes. So long as Sake was here, I was all right.
You just killed your mom. Oh my God, that was one of the most insane stories I have ever. I'm like speechless as to what even to say right now. That was so insane. Do you want to see more? You can click here to watch a full playlist, but bro, this one might need to simmer for a bit. Oh my God.